the only thing that he cared about in the world, the only thing he had in the world.
Do you know what did this come out? I know the first John Wick came out in 2014.
Yeah, in like October-ish of that year.
So the Rover still came out before. Because I was thinking to myself, this kind of did John Wick before John Wick. Obviously in a more grounded way, but still some parallels there. Yeah, I feel like everything happened because they interrupted that robbery, and what they did with his car interrupted his grieving process, you know. And so everything is hinged off of that. Yeah. Which is great.
And he's just relentless trying to get that car back. To get, you know, probably the last friend that he had in this place. It's a good movie.
It is.
It's a good movie.
Do you have what would you rate this? 1 out of 10?
Oh, 10.
10?
I think it's fantastic. I like the very minimal approach to it. There's nothing flashy in the movie. There's, you know, little dialogue. It just tells you the story without having to tell you every single thing. And I mean, we've established at the beginning of this show that the performances in it are fantastic, especially by the two main characters. Not to take anything away from all the bit players, because they're all great too.
Yeah.
But Pierce and Pattinson are so fucking good in this film. So it got pretty decent reviews.
I know specifically Tarantino loved it.
Yeah, we can shout him out in a moment. What he said? Do you know what he said?
I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay. He said, "The Rover was a mesmerizing, visionary achievement, the best post-apocalyptic film since Mad Max." He also said that with the 1-2 punch of Animal Kingdom and The Rover, Michaud proves himself to be the most uncompromising director of his generation. From the Los Angeles Times, "The Rover is a most impressive piece of filmmaking, tense and unrelenting, that chills the blood as well as the soul." And then The Hollywood Reporter says, "Pattinson's performance is great. He's got a good future doing kind of offbeat character work. But the performance that commands the screen is Pierce." And they compared him to a cold-hearted and remorseless anti-hero in a western or a film noir who refuses to die before exacting his vengeance. That's a pretty awesome read.
Just like The Proposition.
Yeah. And then the negative reviews were saying that the film is slow-paced and minimalistic. But the minimalistic thing works for it. It's not slow-paced. It's like just over 90 minutes.
It moves.
Not that long.
Yeah, it moves. I think they mean like the kind happens. Of the Coppola long takes.
Yeah.
You know, where they'll travel with a lot of people don't understand that, but I think it works and makes it's a plus in my eyes for this. It makes sense how they shot it, you know?
Yeah.
And the cinematography is beautiful.
The cinematography is great. And actually doing long takes shows off your performances better. So I looked up kind of to see any accolades. We've established already it kind of got no love here, unfortunately. Did get nominated for 7 awards by the Australian Academy of Cinema and Television, which is basically like the Australian Academy Awards. Best Director, Best Lead Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress for the woman that I believe was the doctor, the vet. Best Production Design, Best Original Score, which I want to say again, the score is awesome, especially early on in the film. Best Sound, and it won for Supporting Actress and Sound. The movie that did win Best Picture and Director, though, was very deserving, so I can't argue with that. Also won Best Actress, and it was The Babadook. So I won't argue with that. That's a pretty tough call between those two films.
What's her name? Jennifer Kent?
Jennifer Kent, yeah. And Essie Davis is fantastic in The Babadook. Won't argue with that. At least Australia recognized it, though. But unfortunately, it just kind of seemed to not make any impression here.
Which is very strange. Especially running with that A24 banner.
Mm-hmm.
You would have thought it would have, and with Pattinson, you would have think that it would have picked up traction.
And this was kind of...
just with that.
I would have to look up to see how long A24 has been around, but...
like an early one?
Yeah,
for them?
I think it feels like an earlier film from them. And now they're kind of more so known as, making horror films. Which they do, but that's not all that they do.
No.
I mean, you and I were just talking about Uncut Gems, like, just before Air.
Mm-hmm.
Which is A24. But I feel like this was one of their earlier films, and maybe that they haven't really established their foothold yet. But it's a shame, because I think it's a fantastic movie. And with some awesome performances in it from, one guy that was obviously already great, and then another one that was saying, I'm not just the good-looking guy in a young adult movie.
Yeah, multifaceted.
Yeah. And he's proven himself since in a ton of great roles. I was just thinking about Tenet the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a big blockbuster film, but he's great in Tenet.
Yep.
Hopefully really good as Batman in a month or two.
Did you, I know you saw High Life, and you were kind of lukewarm on it.
He's good in it. He's very good in it. Like, his performance is great. I'm kind of lukewarm on the execution of it.
Overall.
Yeah. But he's very good in it. I know I didn't have like a whole lot of notes and behind the scenes stuff to get into on this film. I'm hoping that, by us talking about it, people will go and discover this if they haven't seen it before.
Especially if it's on Showtime, the way that you said.
It is on Showtime, so if you have the Showtime app or you have cable, you should be able to hook it up on demand.
Or just get the, I think they do like a...
free trial or something.
Might be a month free trial?
Yeah.
The first, yeah. If you're new to Showtime, yeah, do the free trial. Check out this movie.
Check out Yellow Jackets too, which I started watching and have enjoyed so far.
I like how you said so far.
So I'm only about 4 episodes into it. But of the 4 I've seen, I've really enjoyed the show. So I hope that people will go and seek out this movie if they haven't seen it. And check it out, especially if you like Guy Pearce, because he fucking rules in this movie. And just give it some love, because it obviously did not get any here. But that's a main reason why that I wanted to cover it is, you and I both really love the film. Think it's super underrated. So hopefully it gets some more fans.
He may be one of the biggest breakout stars in the last few years, thanks to his role in Twilight. But Robert Pattinson hasn't rested on his matinee idol good looks. In fact, his eclectic film career has consisted of art house and riskier films.
Makes me feel free in a way I've never known.
And now, from the makers of the incredible Animal Kingdom, Robert is joining forces with Guy Pearce in the apocalyptic film The Rover.
My brother left you to die. He's abandoned you out here to me. You don't know to fight, your death's gonna come real soon.
A dystopian drama set in the outback where humanity is on the brink.
There's no harm God won't see me come to. God feels nothing for you. The only thing that means anything right now is that I'm here, and he's not.
And if it's anything like what we've come to expect from all the talent involved, it's going to be incredible.
Please welcome to the show Robert Pattinson and Guy Pearce. Great to have you. Great to have you both with us. Let's get straight to it. Robert, you spent a whole lot of time in this film with crap all over you. Be honest, how much do you hate Aussie flies?
I grew to really like them after a while, and also being covered in crap is just kind of my default state most of the time. So it was like being at home.
I think Guy will agree. No matter how many years you live in Australia, you still find flies annoying.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to get used to them, but you sort of do, to a degree, at least when camera's rolling, I guess.
I didn't realise the little court cat, the Australian court cat, I thought it was just like a kind of fashion.
You thought it was a fashion sign? Yeah, no, they have a purpose.
Makes sense.
Robert, you've been to Australia a lot over the years. Did you watch Wolf Creek before agreeing to film in the Australian outback?
I have seen Wolf Creek, but I didn't really think about it. I mean, I like the idea of shooting out in the middle of nowhere, just because, and also having all the crew together. I never really get, normally you're in some random city and you're the one stranger and everybody else gets to go home to their families and stuff, and you go home by yourself to a hotel and eat dinner by yourself. But yeah,
poor little Rob.
And Guy, I've got to say, you look great. You look fantastic. You look a lot better than you did that time you were filming and you had to shave your eyebrows off, which must have been a very difficult process for you. But what I want to know is, when you're doing a role like that and you're not on set and you're just down at the supermarket buying cucumbers or something, do people think you're a psycho?
Yeah, there has been a few disguises I've had to wear and some drawn-on eyebrows at times. As I don't have a personal assistant who goes out and buys cucumbers for me, I do freak a few people out. Or I have done in the past, yes. But thank you, Walid. I appreciate you commenting on how good I look at the moment.
Look, if anyone can pull off the eyebrowless look, it is you. I want to be clear about that.
And isn't it great to know you can do it whenever you want and everyone will just think you're making a movie, Guy? I mean, you can cut loose whenever you want at the supermarket.
Yeah, I reckon I should do it now.
Yep.
Someone should hand me a shaver now and I'll shave my eyebrow off.
Hey, we'll come back to you later in the program.
Shouldn't say things like that on live television.
What about you,
That's right.
Robert? I mean, can you even go into a supermarket these days? It must be annoying. You'd have to put a bloody paper bag over your face.
You got to go to like the kind of weird ones. I go to the kind of
where people have shaved their eyebrows.
No, you go to the ones in the middle of nowhere, which only it's the wholesalers and stuff, where you have to buy like massive tubs of everything. That's the only grocery stores I go to.
I can't believe that we're swapping supermarket tips with Robert Patts.
When's the best time to shop?
That's right.
It's so nice to be talking to you, Rob. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago no one could get anywhere near you because you were part of such an enormous juggernaut. And it feels like since then you've deliberately chosen smaller films. Do you prefer one over the other? Will you go back to blockbusters?
I don't know. I just don't really gravitate towards them, and they don't generally gravitate towards me either. So to big movies, I think for young guy parts in big mainstream movies, you've got to be like, they're all kind of confident and stuff. The guy who goes and like has a fight and then has a little quip afterwards, and I think I can't really do that, so I don't really get offered them. I'm the guy who gets beaten up by a bunch of guys and
left to die in a supermarket with their eyebrows shaved off.
That actually sounds amazing.
It does.
Well, the film Rover is in cinemas June 12. We really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us tonight, Guy and Robert. And yeah, all the best. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Are we going to tell them what we're talking about next month, or we're going to keep it under wraps
We'll
as
keep
usual?
it under wraps. I think that was kind of up in the air still, but I'll make a decision on air right now. I know what we're going to talk about. It's another movie I think is very underrated that I've been a huge fan of since it came out. Killer soundtrack. That's the only little breadcrumb I'll give at the moment. Killer fucking soundtrack. But I'll tell you off air what we're gonna do. You might know it was in my list of possibles that I sent to you, but I'm making a decision on the two that were up in the air. I'm making a decision on what we're gonna do, and both of those films are underrated, but the one that we're gonna talk about is a bit older, probably by about 15 years. Really underrated movie, and kind of everyone has forgotten about it apparently.
Thank you, Chris, for coming on.
Thank you for having me on, as always.
Great show, solid discussion as per usual. Can't wait to do it again. Support theaters if you can.
Support the theaters, yeah, for sure. This is kind of a crappy time of the year, movie-wise. It's also kind of a crappy time pandemic-wise. So no judgment if you don't feel like going to the movies. I haven't been to the movies in quite a while, but hopefully we will again soon. But yeah, support movie theaters as always.
Also,